Aftermath. We've lost 10 Parks residents total, 8 deaths plus 2 still missing. No human died, but there were some injuries. They've already started rebuilding. It's funny the way people go right back at it after a tragedy. Everyone comes together. Lots of talk about community and kumbaya, blah, blah, blah. They are a resilient species. I'll give them that. It's been 3 weeks, and we still don't have Kimu back. Suzu either. There have been some sightings, nothing for sure. I worry they can't last long. Wolves aren't native to this part of the world. I like to think they're together at least. Everybody else is back with makeshift domains. Nobody's complaining though. In spite of all the construction, Julia's been taking me to see Ivan and Ruby whenever she can. Today, Ivan leans on the temporary fence separating him from the elephants. Maya made him a medal for valor out of the watermelon and cucumbers. He's eaten most of it. It's pretty great. Almost everybody we saved from the shelter ended up with a home, says Ivan. Even the annoying bunny. Almost everyone, I reminded him. I'm so sorry about Boss, he says in a gentle way. From what we can tell, Boss never went into the donut shop. She slipped away, and no one knows what happened to her. I try not to feel hurt, but I had this silly fantasy about me and her and Rowdy all hanging up together like a family. And I so wanted her to know what it's like to have a warm bed and a full bowl and a good year scratch whenever you need it. I want her to know she deserved that as much as any dog. I guess she lived life too long on her own terms, or maybe she was afraid to get her hopes up, to trust. I understand. Been there, done that. But sometimes humans don't let you down. Sometimes they even come to the rescue. Riddle. Uncle Bob, Ruby calls, galloping over. She seems more confident these days, a little more grown up. Stella would be proud. I know I am. Want to hear my new riddle? Absolutely, I do. Ruby flaps her ears. She does that when she gets excited. What has an eye but cannot see? I am perplexed, Ruby, pondering and puzzled. A hurricane, she exclaimed. Good one, Ruby. First rate. I look at Ivan. We smile at each other. We don't need to say anything. It's enough to listen to the palm trees rustle and watch the sawgrass sway. Working on it. On the way home, we pass the shelter. It's been patched up pretty well, looks like, and they are back in business. I hear the usual yelps and howls and hisses and meows, and like always, I feel lousy. I plop down on the sidewalk, and Julia stops walking. What's going on, Bob? She asks. I listen, like I always do, for her bark. That bark. Nope, nothing. I wish Ruby were here to distract me. Oh, I wish Rowdy were here to distract me, but he's still learning how to walk on a tug of war string. He's a pretty swell pup, even if he is a little feisty. I'm surprised how much I like having him around the house. It's weird. I feel responsible for the little guy. Sort of like he's become my numero uno. Julia bends down and strokes my head. I wag my tail a bit, slowly stand. I think of poor old Julius stuck in that backyard day and night. I think of Boss roaming the streets. I think of my sibling, the dark night, the box, the highway. I'm trying hard to find the forgiveness that seemed to come so naturally to other dogs. Maybe that's what Boss was getting at. Maybe it's easier to forgive others once you've learned how to forgive yourself. I'm working on it. It's like a bone. Sometimes you have to chew for a long time before you make any progress. Snickers again. Once we're home, I head for the couch. I'm snoozing peacefully with Rowdy when a doozy of a smell, assaults my snooze, which is finally back to working order. It's her. Snickers is back. She's been gone for a while. After the hurricane, they had to do some repairs to Mac's house. Not sure where Snicker has been staying, but that's definitely her I smell. No doubt about it. I dive under the couch, but not before Nutwit appears at the front window. Oh, Bobo, he calls. Someone's looking for you. I'm not home, I yelled. Yeah, I don't think she'll take no for an answer, says Nutwit. Shouldn't you be rebuilding your nest? Nah, watching you cover in fear is way more fun. What's the deal, Uncle Bob? Rowdy asks. Be afraid, Rowdy, I say. Be very afraid. The door opens, and there's Julia with Snickers by her side. Well, hello there, Snicker, says Sarah as she's passed through the living room. What are you doing here? Mac and his wife just moved back, Julia says. They called this afternoon and said Snicker was dying for a walk. I eased back a little farther under the couch. Can Snickers see me? Maybe not, but she can almost definitely smell me. For once, I regret my pungent aroma. Snickers dart across the living room, straight to the couch, pulling Julia along for the ride. Snickers! Julia exclaims. Slow down, girl, she kneels. Bob, are you hiding under there? I move an inch, exposing my snout. Snickers goes insane. She yanks free of the tug of war string. For a moment, she pauses to do a polite nose tap with Rowdy. Then she lets loose with zoomies and yips and howls of joy. Bob, Julia says, come out and say hi. I pretend not to hear her, which isn't a big stretch, since Snicker is barking like a maniac. Robert, says Julia. Fine. I belly crawl out until I'm exposed. Snickers is ecstatic. She showers me with licks and nips and nudges and leaps. Bob, she croons, how I've missed you. I cover my head with my paws, but there's no escaping her adoration. There's a reason we survived Bob, she says, her fuzzy tail in high gear. The fates want our love to blossom. Is this your girlfriend, Uncle Bob? Rowdy inquires. Girlfriend today, Snicker responds in a giddy voice. But who knows what tomorrow may bring? Perhaps you should start calling me Aunt Snickers. I am relieved beyond measure when Julia finally pulls Snicker with great effort out the door. I try to ignore Nutwood's teasing. I try to tolerate Rowdy's stifled laughter. But when Minnie starts chanting Bob and Snickers, followed by Moose sitting in a tree, I've had enough. I head for my doggy door, ignoring the popcorning guinea pigs, and try to locate my dignity.